Yeah, good morning. So today, I just want to talk about business in Kenya, or business in Africa, or business anywhere in the world. We know that everybody uh, wants to be self-employed, or not everybody, but a majority of the people, want to be self-employed, or they want to get engaged in some form of business. But we also know that business is not always a sure end. You can invest in the business, but it fails after a short while, or because there's just too much competition in the market, or because you just didn't do your homework and then the business fails. But what I want to talk about is at least five items or five kinds of businesses that are almost fail proof, especially if you're doing them in Africa or in Kenya. And some of these businesses that are fail proof just things because we need them or we use them on a daily basis. Businesses that the demand is there, and of course there is the need. So you're offering a solution. So of course, starting a business is always aligned with the strong logical demand, and of course the economic trends of the area. You know, and I'm just going to talk about five specific businesses that I believe are fail proof, because starting a business always comes with all these risks, but certain ventures in Kenya have consistently shown strong potential due to their alignment with the local demand, uh, the resources availability, and of course the economic conditions. So one of such businesses is agribusiness, or let me say maize farming. Maize is a staple food in Kenya. So if you do anything to do with maize, then you're in good hands. Maize is a staple in Kenya, and its demand remains very high on a daily basis. This business can thrive due to the continuous need of maize products, and of course for consumption and industrial use. The other thing is land buying and selling. Real estate remains a very lucrative sector in Kenya, with a growing middle class and the urbanization driving demand to the cities, and of course increasing the demand for residential and of course commercial properties. And that is land. Also, you can also do that because there's a continuous demand for housing, commercial space and infrastructure development in urban and semi-urban areas. The business number four is healthcare services. The need for quality healthcare is growing at a very high rate. With the middle class growing, there's also an increase in healthcare awareness and the demand for specialized medical services. And of course, agribusiness. Agribusiness is, I know I talked about maize, but agribusiness is another type of business that you can never fail in doing in Kenya. Now, so absolutely, starting a healthcare service business in Kenya is promising. It's a venture that has high potential, and it makes a significant impact on the public health. But you have to have an approach. You have to identify the gaps, what is needed. You just don't say, okay, I'm going to do a healthcare business, but what are the gaps? So you have to research the specific healthcare needs of the community you plan to serve, such as general healthcare, specialized services, or emergency care. So you can choose one of those so that you have an approach of how to tackle it. And then you also have to outline the range of services you'll offer. So, such as, are you going to offer primary care? Are you just going to do that diagnostic services, or the specialty healthcare in a certain area? So you have to really, really decide that. But the demand is there, the need of this kind of services are there. Now, you have to set up the necessary infrastructure, such as IT, systems that are going to work. You have to do the electronic medical keeping, EMR, and of course the billing system. So you have to have all those in place. Uh, and then of course you have now hire talent. When you do business in Africa or in Kenya, you also have to create employment. So you have to hire talent. This is all good stuff. You recruit qualified healthcare professionals, of course, including nurses, doctors, technicians, administrative staff, so that you ensure they have the necessary certification and, of course, they have the experience needed for that. And the other thing I would recommend when you do something to do with the health, you have to invest in ongoing training and, of course, development programs so that people can grow from one stage to the next. This will keep the staff updated on the latest medical practices, technologies, and of course, new ways of taking care of the patients. So, like I said, you have to have the IT, systems that streamline potential or patient information management and improve care coordination. So it's all done fluently, with no problem. So, and of course, like any business, of course, you have to maintain your accurate financial records and manage cash flow effectively. That way you'll monitor expenses and revenue so that you can know how you're doing business. So by following guidelines, and focusing on quality, focusing on compliance and community engagement, you can build a successful healthcare business in Kenya that not only meets the government requirements or the needs of the government in terms of the business, but also it creates employment in the area. It creates employment in the region. So it's a win-win situation for you and, of course, the people that you're working with, or the people who will be working for you. So healthcare business, I think, it's fantastic. It's a way to go. It's one of those things that businesses that you'll never fail in Kenya, because the demand for Kenyans for healthcare has gone up. Another business that I think would be great is agribusiness. Kenya's agribusiness sector is rich with opportunities beyond maize farming. And I'll talk about maize farming later. Exploring various crops, exploring various livestock, and value-added products can lead to a really successful and sustainable business. Here's a close look at some of the promising agribusiness ventures and strategies that one can capitalize in. Fruit farming. Europe doesn't have fruits. They have to import from Africa. So grow a high value fruit such as avocados. You can grow mangoes. You can grow passion fruit. Because Kenya has a very favorable climate that supports year-round production. Um, Other than fruits, there's vegetable farming. You can cultivate vegetables like tomatoes, carrots, and kale. The demand is so high. So you can use modern techniques like hydroponics. This can be done and simple and easy. You don't use too much land. Or you do a greenhouse farming, and this will give you a very high yield. What is popular right now is the flower farming. If you engage the production of flowers such as roses, lilies, and carnations, Kenya is a key player in the global flower export business. So with that, you have to identify the market demands, both locally and internationally, to target high yielding crops. What will go do better, fruits, flowers, or vegetables? So once you do that, then you can invest in modern farming technologies and irrigation systems to increase productivity and reduce costs. So if you do that, you know, you cannot go wrong, especially if you want to do it for exports. Then when I talk to agribusiness, you can also do dairy farming, so you can establish dairy farms to produce milk and value added products like cheese and yogurt. So you can focus on high yielding breeds and efficient production methods so that you can grow. Poultry farming, a broiler or a layer poultry farming considers great business, value added products such as processed chicken and or eggs. There's need for that because the middle class is growing, so there's need for that. So just ensure you have proper animal health and of course nutrition and maximum productivity for reduced losses. And of course then you can also do fish farming. Start fish farming or pond or in tanks. For specific fish which are very popular in tilapia. The need for tilapia is so great. They have to import from China. The need for catfish is so great. Why would they import fish from China while the demand is so high? Catfish have very high demand in the local markets. People used to eat just mostly tilapia, but now catfish has really taken into the market. So just invest. If you invest in good water management practices, and of course systems, and maintain fish health, and of course that will increase productivity, and you will never miss a market for that. So the opportunities are there. So you can start a processing agricultural farm, for fish. You can make juices, vegetable, maize flour. Just add value to whatever you have, and those business will never fail in Kenya. So just implement strict quality controls and measure to ensure product safety and compliance with the health standards within the country and of course globally. Because if you're going to export to the global market, you have to maintain certain health standards. So once you do that, especially and you're an entrepreneur, then you know that business is not gonna be challenged. Then of course organic farming. Now some of these businesses may require inorganic, but if you focus on organic, grow organic fruits, grow organic vegetables, grow organic grain. This farming is becoming increasingly popular due to the health and environmental concerns. So instead of using agriculture, you can whatever grow everything organically. You will not miss a market for this. So my recommendation, if you want to do organic farming, just obtain organic certifications to access premium markets and build consumer trust. If you want to export your organic products, they'll say, okay, give me your certifications. Show me that you know what you're doing. So those certifications are not hard to get. You can focus on that, and then of course you can invest in the training and education on sustainable farming practices to improve productivity and also environmental impact. So position yourself on your products as premium, eco-friendly options and attract health-conscious consumers. You can never fail with that. So continuously research the market trends and consumer preferences to align your production with the demands. So you have to do a little research and see where is the demand, what do they want. So by leveraging this diverse agricultural opportunities and focusing on innovative quality and market needs, you can build a thriving agribusiness that contributes to the country's food security and also economic development. So that was number 2, agribusiness. Healthcare was number 1, agribusiness number 2. Number 3, you can leverage in the Kenyans' real estate development. Kenya is doing very well in real estate. There's a few other African countries doing well in real estate. Egypt is doing great. South Africa is doing great. Kenya is not far behind. So Kenya holds a significant potential driven by the urban growth, the growth of the urban cities, and the expanding infrastructure and increasing demand for residents. So with the roads being built everywhere in Kenya, people have access to land even farther from the city, but because the roads are there, you're able to do this real estate easily. And of course, it can be residential. When the residential need is up, then of course you can focus on commercial. You can also focus on industrial spaces. So for you to do real estate, I think you can just analyze the current and projected demands for residential, commercial, and industrial properties in your target area. Stay informed about the trends such as or trend preferences such as sustainable living, smart homes, and of course mixed development. Mixed development, that means shops at the bottom and the people are living upstairs. So just evaluate potential sites based on factors like location, accessibility, infrastructure, and growth prospects. But like I say, in the urban areas where there's infrastructure, even the farther out you go from the city with the infrastructure, the demand is still going to be there. So define a scope of your project, such as including type of properties, e.g., do you want to build apartments? Do you want to build offices? Is it real retail space? And what's the scale of the development? But of course, this requires you just to go a little deeper, establish your timeline, and you will never go wrong with this kind of businesses in Kenya. So the good thing is there's also availability of loans, within Kenya. Other African countries don't have loans that would allow you to do this real estate development. So explore options such as bank loans, investor partnerships, and or real estate investment trusts. They call them REIT, real estate investment trust. So ensure you find a solid financial plan to cover development costs, and then it can be done very easily with no problems. Just keep in mind, draft and review your contracts and contractors, suppliers, and investors. Ensure legal protection and clarity in agreements. Kenya is very good at following this kind of legal matters and stuff like that. So after that, there is also give architects jobs. You'll create jobs for architects. And of course, urban planners are going to be very happy with the prospects and stuff like that. So real estate is booming. There's a need for this in Kenya, and real estate businesses are not failing in Kenya at all. So success in real estate development in Kenya hinges on on thorough planning, of course, strategic execution, and adherence to regulations. If you keep regulations, you will not go wrong. So by understanding the market dynamics, investing in quality and sustainable products, and building strong relationships with stakeholders, you can establish a thriving real estate development business that needs the evolving needs of Kenya's growth. There's a shortage of housing. So you can be the person ready to supply them with that. So that was number 3, real estate. Number 4 is also similar to real estate, but this is land acquisition business. In Kenya, Kenya is in need, or indeed a promising venture in land acquisition. Given the country's rapid urbanization, given the country's economic growth, rapid economic growth, and given the increasing demand for real estate, here's what you need to do. Buy and sell land. Buy a big chunk of land, subdivide it, and sell it for real estate development. So you just analyze the area with high demand for land, such as growing urban centers. Emerging towns have cheap land. You can go to those emerging towns. And regions with upcoming infrastructure projects. When you see new roads coming up, you know that is an area that is being open for development. So you can buy land in those areas, subdivide and sell. So it will just require a little feasibility study, do uh, valuation of the land based on the location, size, and of course the current market trends. And this will help you determine the potential return on the investment. Because all this business is based on REI. What do you invest, what do you get back? And of course, there's always risk in every business, but these ones I'm giving you are always sure proof. So conducting due diligence to verify the land's legal status, ownership, and any encumbrances, just ensure there's no dispute in the claims on the property. Once you do that, you do your due diligence. So you ensure all legal documents, including land title deed, the transfer documents, and land sale agreements are all in order. So ensure that you have all this in place. So verify that the land uh, complies, of course, with the local zoning regulations and land use policies. So you have to engage the government a little bit, so that you obtain the necessary approvals, from the local authorities. So you just don't go buy land and subdivide and, just engage the local authorities so that you do it right. And of course, ensure the land adheres to environmental regulations and sustainable products. So that will just require a little market analysis, then you can either buy the land or you can even develop it. So you consider subdividing large pieces of land into smaller plots, if applicable, and invest in infrastructure improvement like roads and utilities and drainage to enhance this land's value. So when you have a little value added on the land, or putting a fence around it, or a gate, or digging a borehole, immediately your land value goes up. So you have to explore opportunities for value addition, such as developing even commercial and residential properties, and then, you'll provide parks and community facilities. So once you define your market target and you tailor it to yourself, offering to meet their needs, for example, residential plots for families and commercial spaces for business or industrial land for manufacturing, you can actually get into this business and you will not fail at it. But like I say again, there's always risk, in business, because every business has a risk. So by focusing on thorough market research, legal compliance, and of course your strategic investment and community engagement, you can actually build a successful and rewarding land acquisition business in Kenya. The key to success lies in understanding the market dynamics. How does the market change? So maintaining a high standard of quality and sustainability, and building strong relationships with stakeholders, with careful planning and execution, you can actually capitalize in the growth opportunities in Kenya dynamic real estate. And that was number 4, buying land, subdividing, and selling. Number 5, which I think is key, it's also related to number 2, which is horticulture, but now I'm going to focus on corn, maize farming in Kenya, or doing any business related to maize. So starting a maize farming and or brokerage business in Kenya can be a lucrative venture given that the staple nature of maize in the country's diet and, of course, in the economy. And I just want to give you a small guide to help you establish and grow successful maize farming and brokerage business. So you just analyze maize consumption patterns and identify key markets. There's certain markets that the demand for maize is just there. What I mean by that is urban areas. The need for maize is extremely high. Of course, rural communities and institutions like schools and hospitals, they all need maize because it's a staple meal. So if you monitor maize prices and trends to understand seasonal fluctuations and market demands, this can help you in setting competitive prices and planning your supply chain. So what I mean by that is maybe if you have a storage, that will help you to have a standard supply. So of course, this will need access to suitable land and soil for maize farming. You know, if you're from the West, conducting soil tests to determine the pH levels and nutrient requirements, of course, that will help you have a higher yield. But you don't have to do that. You can just grow maize um, the local way, just the way they do it, whereby they choose land. You can even lease land, in areas that have suitable climate and soil conditions for maize. And then there's always rain. A lot of people depend on rain, but if you want to go ahead and do irrigation, that's fine. But there's an ample rain in Kenya to have 3 crops of maize in a year. So with that, you can just use the regular local maize, or you can choose high yielding and disease resistant maize. That way you are in a better position. If you have disease resistant maize and one that is also high yield, so you can do that. So um, for large scale, if you implement an efficient irrigation system to maintain soil moisture, especially during the right periods, that's a win-win. But of course, that's a higher, larger scale farming. You know, which most of you maybe don't want to do that, but you can do that if you really are serious about that. Now, that is the side of the farming, but also you can become a broker. So if you establish strong relationships with the maize farmers, to secure quality maize, you can offer fair pricing and timely payments. If you do offer fair pricing and then you pay on time, you're going to build a strong relationship with farmers and, of course, other suppliers. So if you can connect with the buyers such as grain mills, if you can connect with the wholesalers, the market, and if you can connect with the exporters, people who are exporting maize. If you attend trade fairs and join agricultural association to broaden your network, you can become a real big maize broker in Kenya within a short period of time. So, but you can do this. They can help you stay informed about the market prices and trends so that you can negotiate favorable deals for both buyers and, of course, sellers. And then if you become a seller and you pay everybody on time, then you'll be good. So I know it's a cash incentive. You have to invest in a reliable transportation. Or if you can't buy your truck, you can partner with a logistic company to ensure timely delivery of maize. So if you don't have the truck and you have a supply and you connect with a logistic company, that will solve your logistics and distribution problem. But most of all, you have to do the networking and things of that nature. But you can also explore other opportunities for value addition, such as processing the maize into flour and animal feed. When I talk about agribusiness, I talked about growing cattle for dairy, but they need to eat. So you can also do value addition in animal food, which comes from maize. So you can implement sustainable farming practices to reduce environment impact and improve soil health. So when you do that, I think you can really, really be successful in maize farming. There's so much more that you can do with maize. But by carefully planning your maize farming and brokerage businesses, understanding the market dynamics, and then focusing on the quality and efficiency, you can establish a very successful and sustainable venture, leveraging on technology, uh, building strong relationships, and engaging the community for better networks and further enhancing your business growth and impact. So, those 5 businesses, if you get into them, you're never going to fail. With that, I just want to say thank you for listening. And I know it's been long, but uh, subscribe to Obeng Bash channel so that we can grow together. And then next, anytime I have a new video, you'll be the first one to get it. With that, I just want to say thank you and God bless you. Bye bye.